Hey everyone, this is Noah from Knights of 67, and I know lately I've come out with 2 WoW discussions videos on topics of the next World of Warcraft expansion, and this will be the last one I will make until the WoW expansion is officially announced at BlizzCon in November. I feel like it is kind of beating a dead horse at this point, but I feel like I haven't gone into depth as much as I could. So this video will be a longer one like my first video. Annotations for both of my previous videos if you want to watch them. The first one is definitely more lengthy. So feel free to just watch this one, and I should cover all the topics that I have already covered up to this point. Now, I won't really be covering like gameplay things like I did in my first WoW expansions video. Instead, I just want to go into what exactly will be the next World of Warcraft expansion. Now, there is much speculation as to which of these topics the next WoW expansion could be, but there are really only 2 ones that everyone can unanimously agree on. One being the Dark Below, which was recently trademarked, and things of that nature. That's also rumored to be, sort of the South Seas type expansion, which Blizzard has wanted to do for a long time. So that's the first concept, and the second concept, of course, is the whole idea of the Burning Legion invasion on Azeroth and all that kind of good stuff. Now, I'll be going into examples that are, or theories rather, as to which one could be the true expansion and things of that nature. And there's plenty of hints and clues on both sides of these topics to point either one being the next expansion. And either, like I said in my Dark Below video, either it's going to be 2 separate expansions, which I think is kind of the more likely thing, or it would be a hybrid expansion like some of you have suggested. Like the first part is Queen Azshara and the Old Gods, and then the second part is Burning Legion, or vice versa. And I think that's a pretty cool topic as well, so include them in both one expansion. I think that would be pretty cool, and you could kind of have a title like the Dark Below kind of fit with both of those things as well. So I'll make sure to go over plenty of points for both of these theories, and which one I think is more likely to be the next expansion and everything like that. So let's go ahead and get underway. Now, for those of you that don't know, on August 12th, MMO Champion posted that Blizzard trademarked the title The Dark Below, and at the time, it was speculated to either be the next World of Warcraft expansion or the Diablo 3 expansion, which had been anticipated for some time. Now, it has been confirmed that the title of the next Diablo 3 expansion is going to be Reaper of Souls, which just begs one question now. Is the Dark Below indeed the name of the next World of Warcraft expansion? Well, it would seem to fit the pattern that with Mists of Pandaria and Cataclysm, they have both trademarked the name about 3 months before the BlizzCon coming up later in that given year. And it would seem to fit the pattern this time around as well. It was announced earlier this month. BlizzCon is in early November, so it would seem to fit the pattern. And Blizzard, quote-unquote, leaks this information to MMO Champion every year, or MMO Champion stumbles upon it, whichever one you prefer to believe, just to cause some kind of excitement and some controversy to even some extent, and just to build a hype gradually until BlizzCon. Now, recently it was announced that the Dark Below could very well be a hoax, considering that MMO Champion stated that it is very easy to register things under Blizzard's name, as well as free, so just about anyone can do it. So you could say that Knights of 67, for example, my YouTube channel name, would be the title of the next World of Warcraft expansion, labeled as Blizzard Entertainment copywriting it, and it would seem legit. The only problem I see with people's argument to say that this means that the Dark Below is a hoax is the fact that it is kind of hinted at in the game so much. So if it was a hoax, then I think it was really, cleverly hoaxed by whoever did it. But I think it wasn't hoaxed, mainly because something like that, you know, when you trademark something under Blizzard's name, I think something like that is extremely illegal to do, and if Blizzard found out about it, if it was indeed fake, then I think that Blizzard would sue whoever did it. Now, you know, I mean, no one knows who did it, but Blizzard would find a way, I'm sure. Now, as far as this Corgis Unleashed, or whatever it's called, I don't have it in front of me, so I'm sorry if I mispronounced that you know, fake copyright name that was posted on MMO Champion. But DD Guides, in his video covering the whole Dark Below thing, basically said that he thinks that Blizzard basically went in with MMO Champion and had them post that to make it look like the Dark Below was going to be a hoax, simply to build even more controversy and therefore more hype as well, to some extent, as to what the next expansion would be. That way, nothing was, you know, like, oh yeah, we knew that was going to be the next expansion, you know. So nothing like that happens at BlizzCon, which I think is actually pretty likely. I mean, some people think it would be a stupid move by Blizzard. I don't really think it would be a bad move at all. So, with me saying that, I believe that the Dark Below is very much a real concept. Whether or not they would actually stick with that name through, I'm not entirely sure. But as far as the idea of the whole Dark Below, I believe that is very much real. As I stated in my other video, even though I made that video before this whole hoax thing was allegedly announced to the public. So I'm just going to go through here, like I said, and just have some clues and things like that that point in the direction to the Dark Below, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with concepts and everything like that, and clues that point towards the whole idea of a Burning Legion type expansion. So with that, let's go ahead and get into points about the Dark Below. Now, the first thing I want to mention about the whole Dark Below concept is the same thing that I covered in my initial Dark Below concept video, and that is something that Rod Den says after you beat him on Heroic Throne of Thunder that extremely hints towards something that sounds sort of like the Dark Below. So with that, I'll go ahead and play the audio clip for all of you.
Perhaps there is still hope, but there's a yawning chasm of darkness beneath you mortals, vast, endless, and all-consuming. I do not believe that you can correct this doomed course, but you have earned the right to try.
Now, that to me sounds an awful lot like he is mentioning something that is kind of like the Dark Below, and I think you all can agree with that as well. The second clue that I want to point out to you all that points towards the whole concept of the Dark Below type expansion involved with N'Zoth and Queen Azshara and everything like that is something that Yogg-Saron says. Now, warning to you all now, this is a spoiler for patch 5.4 Siege of Orgrimmar, so if you do not wish to know anything, skip later in the video. I will put an annotation on screen right now that will tell you the time to skip to. So if you don't want any spoilers, click that annotation. But for those of you that do want to know how this is related to the Dark Below, here is the clip that Yogg-Saron will say to you in the Garrosh fight.
You will rest in Ny'alotha. When you walk among the Black Forest, you will see.
Now, the question that many of you may be asking is, how exactly is this related to the concept of the Dark Below? Well, directly, it may not really. Ny'alotha is not really mentioned anywhere in the lore prior to him saying this, and prior to the whole idea of the puzzle box of Yogg-Saron, which I will explain here in a moment. Now, this whole Ny'alotha and how he speaks that, you know, of it, it is basically a sunken city, which obviously implies underwater with Queen Azshara and N'Zoth, but it also points towards the Dark Forest, which is basically within the Emerald Nightmare, which is obviously the whole concept of the Emerald Dream. And the Emerald Dream, I'm just gonna be brief with this. I mean, most of you know what the Emerald Dream is. Basically, it's like Azeroth before it was corrupt, and now it's basically just like a perfect version of Azeroth, basically, with like no bad stuff going on. Like, it's all one continent still and everything like that. But in the Stormrage novel and stuff like that, it is revealed that Xavius basically corrupted this Emerald Dream, and it became the Emerald Nightmare, and Malfurion Stormrage was basically forced to seal it off until another time, and general things like that. And N'Zoth basically had an influence over Xavius, apparently, and now N'Zoth is looking for a new Nightmare Lord, as it is called, to continue the corruption within the Emerald Nightmare. And this is where the two are kind of tied together. And, I'm not an expert on the lore or anything, but I know enough, so if my information is kind of off, please correct me in the comments below. But for the most part, I believe I am at least semi-correct. So, it ties the whole idea of the Queen Azshara and N'Zoth thing, because they will be in the same expansion, I would imagine. I would not imagine that they would separate Queen Azshara and N'Zoth into separate type expansions. That just won't happen. So they will be involved. So the Dark Below could definitely have some involvement with Ny'alotha. And speaking of Ny'alotha, there is something very interesting that comes from the puzzle box of Yogg-Saron. And for those of you that don't know, the puzzle box of Yogg-Saron, which you're seeing on screen, is a archaeology Nerubian rare artifact. And basically, once you get this, you will try and open it, and you will ultimately fail, and it will whisper some very interesting quotes that do relate to the same kind of thing that Y'Seraj whispers to you. And this, again, could point to the whole idea of a Dark Below, Queen Azshara, N'Zoth expansion, and, both of those people into one expansion, that the Emerald Nightmare would somehow be involved, because Blizzard doesn't just tie the Emerald Nightmare and N'Zoth together for no reason. So, let's go ahead and see the whispers that come from the puzzle box of Yogg-Saron, and I will go ahead and narrate these to you guys now. At the bottom of the ocean, even light must die. Look around, they will all betray you. Flee screaming into the black forest. In the land of Ny'alotha, there is only sleep. In Ny'alotha, only mad things walk. The drowned god's heart is black ice. In the sunken city, he lies dreaming. So again, we hear about this whole place of Ny'alotha, and we hear again about the Black Forest, and it mentions, that there's only sleep, and only mad things walk, and, everything like that. And again, in the sunken city, he lies dreaming. So if that isn't a connection between the old god N'Zoth and the Emerald Dream, or the Emerald Nightmare, I don't know what is. And it also says the drowned god's heart is black ice. Now this is interesting. Now I don't necessarily know what it means by the whole black ice, but again, the drowned god, which again is N'Zoth, because he is underwater with the Naga in what I would presume to be Nazjatar. But maybe he is within Ny'alotha. Maybe he is within the Emerald Dream. That's, again, a far-fetched idea, but I definitely think that the Dark Below concept with Queen Azshara and N'Zoth is very much real, as I stated, and if that is indeed going to be the next expansion, or whether or not it's the next expansion or not, it will definitely be a future expansion. And when the Dark Below is explored, I definitely think that it will finally include the Emerald Dream or the Emerald Nightmare. I believe we will finally go there because, like I said, Blizzard doesn't just tie together N'Zoth and the Emerald Nightmare just for shits and giggles. It has a very, very important reason to be tied together. And this is the concept for a future WoW expansion, I believe. Now, is the Dark Below the next World of Warcraft expansion? Well, that's tough to say, and that's the whole point of this video, is what is the concept of the next expansion? Is it the Dark Below with Queen Azshara and the Naga, or is it the Burning Legion with Sargeras? And, you know, I can't really say which one is the for real next expansion, but we haven't even covered the Burning Legion topic yet. So this just about wraps up the entire Dark Below concepts, I believe. I believe I have covered everything I want to cover on the subject. You know, so there are many things pointing to a sort of Dark Below Naga Queen Azshara type expansion, and it is definitely a very, very interesting topic. And now I will begin to go into more depth about what I think the Burning Legion concept will be. Now, the first time around, I explored the concept of the Burning Legion, and that was the first topic I covered because it seemed the most evident to be true with the whole Wrathion legendary questline and everything like that, which I've already explained. And, you know, obviously, with the beginning, Wrathion says, you know, that a force is coming that a divided Azeroth cannot stand against and everything like that, and there's the meteors hurtling towards Azeroth, which are green, which implies the Infernals, and then there is this quote from Wrathion that pretty much announces that the Burning Legion will come again, so I'll go ahead and play this clip for you all.
Great Crane, you have not seen what I have seen.
You underestimate me.
The fires that once burned the sky will return. It is inevitable. The Burning Legion will find Azeroth. Seas of blood, cities in ruin. Who are we? One divided world to stand against a legion.
Now, this whole quote from Wrathion obviously says that the Burning Legion will come again. They will find Azeroth. They will burn cities, just pools of blood everywhere. And basically, Azeroth is left to be slaughtered. Now, I kind of had a theory for this. Like, obviously it's a vision that he had, so maybe it doesn't necessarily come true. But I think the part about the Burning Legion coming to Azeroth is true. But the fact that they will completely annihilate Azeroth, whether or not that comes true, that's entirely up to you to interpret as a vision or a, you know, an omen or something like that. I believe that it's pretty likely that it will happen like that, a Burning Legion invasion event. I still like the idea of going to Argus or a new Outland type zone like we did in Burning Crusade. But again, there's no guarantee that that will happen. And the point of this video is not to explain what we would necessarily do in the expansion, but rather the general concept of the expansion and which one is going to be the next expansion. So again, you can click on my annotation for my first Burning Legion expansion video that I did and see my points in that video and things of that nature if you're really interested in more detail about that. Now, there's some other points that I would like to make about the whole idea of the Burning Legion expansion. I mean, obviously, with Wrathion saying all that, it basically confirms that the Burning Legion will come again. There will be a future expansion. The only question left is, are they the directly next World of Warcraft expansion? Because, like I said, there are really only two options left, and that is what we've already explored as the Dark Below with Queen Azshara and N'Zoth, mixed in with the Emerald Nightmare, and then there is the concept of the Burning Legion returning with Sargeras, Kil'jaeden, all of them. But another point that I would like to make in the direction of the Burning Legion expansion that may point to it being the next World of Warcraft expansion is something called the Blank Scroll. Now, this was a short story posted on Battle.net on the World of Warcraft website, and basically there was a unique part of the story that definitely caught my eye when reading it, and it states basically it's about when Garrosh gets his hand on the scroll and things like that, and a vision of the future basically happens. And this part really caught my eye, and it says, Stormwind fell, the orcs reigned supreme, at least for a time. The dark portal left unguarded was reclaimed by the Burning Legion. Horrors rose from the sea and found no champions left to stop them. Azeroth's mountains burned and melted, its oceans boiled until nothing remained, and all was dark. Now, an interesting point in that quote to me was the fact that it says, the Dark Portal was reclaimed by the Burning Legion, which obviously implies that at some point they came to Azeroth, and then it says, horrors rose from the sea and found no champions left to stop them, which means after the Burning Legion has come and reclaimed the Dark Portal, then everyone like the Naga, Queen Azshara, and N'Zoth rises from the sea to, I guess, take the fight to Azeroth, and goes, oh shit, no one's up here. And then basically the Burning Legion and Naga, I would assume, engage in an epic battle, which basically just completely obliterates Azeroth. So that sounds pretty epic, but obviously that is not the future that Azeroth wants. And again, this was just one path that would have happened if Garrosh would have gotten his hands on the scroll. Same thing with the whole Divine Bell thing, basically. Now, this was very, very interesting, and that could point the Burning Legion expansion being the next expansion before the whole idea of Queen Azshara and all that. And it seems pretty set in stone with that whole quote, but I'm going to go ahead and try and debunk it real quick, because here's the thing that I don't quite get about the Burning Legion being the next expansion and then Queen Azshara coming after that. And that's, I think that the idea of the Burning Legion is best saved for the last expansion. And here's why, is the Burning Legion is such a major part of Warcraft lore. It was responsible for the Sundering, which split all the continents of Azeroth apart, which resulted in Pandaria basically sealing itself off in the mists, only to be discovered later in Mists of Pandaria and all stuff like that. So it's shaped the world entirely, the Burning Legion almost being summoned into this world by Queen Azshara. So obviously they do have some kind of relation, Queen Azshara and the Burning Legion, but they won't be in the same expansion, I would imagine. That just wouldn't make too much sense to me. But Blizzard, is open to do anything, and I'm sure that they could make it work if they so wanted to. And, so I just don't get why the Burning Legion would be the next expansion, because obviously with the Burning Legion being the main, antagonist, you look at it and you go, Sargeras would obviously be the biggest antagonist of that entire expansion. And if Sargeras was the final boss of that expansion and we kill Sargeras, I mean, what left is there really? Because I know that there are Queen Azshara and N'Zoth and everything like that, but you gotta think that Sargeras is the most powerful entity in Warcraft universe, other than, of course, the other Titans. But Sargeras was a Titan. He became corrupt, became all fiery, and created the Burning Legion and all that. So, essentially, he is a Titan, he has the powers of a Titan, and therefore he is basically the single strongest entity in the Warcraft universe. Therefore, if we kill the said strongest entity in the Warcraft universe, is Queen Azshara and N'Zoth really that much of a challenge after that? And I think the obvious answer is no, they are not. And, so that's why I'm kind of debunking the whole Burning Legion being the next expansion, is because, after we kill Sargeras, what left is there really? Now, granted, we could take down Sargeras with the help of the Titans, which I think would be the most likely way to go about that, because, I mean, come on. Like, we don't stand a chance against Sargeras by himself, so we need the help of the Titans or someone like that to help us take him down. And then the Titans could go off and do their own thing again, and then Queen Azshara and them could come up, and then so they would kind of be a threat because we wouldn't have the Titans' help to do it. But still, in comparison, I just don't think it would be nearly as much of a challenge. I mean, old gods are certainly strong, and they are definitely a pain in the ass for the Titans. but I just think it is most likely that Queen Ijara and the Naga are explored before Sargeras and the Burning Legion. Now, with that being said, there is a leaked screenshot of what appears to be the patch 5.5 logo, if you will. Now, this is like probably 99% absolutely fake, but if it is fake, it's the most interesting fake I have ever come across, and I do probably believe that it's fake, but I think it is very, very cool. Now, as you're seeing on screen, it was part of a YouTube video cap, if you will, and it says the Sky Sunder, and that's very interesting, and it kind of reminds me of the Sunwell logo. It's written in green, almost looks like fire and stuff like that, and like I said, I believe that this is a fake screenshot, but if it is a pretty legit fake screenshot, if that makes any sense. And it's caused some controversy on the MMO Champion forums, which is actually where I came across it. And the interesting thing about it is that basically, you know, the Sundering is when the Burning Legion was first, you know, brought into this world, so to speak. You know, that completely shattered apart the world, as I already explained. And obviously, with the name the Sky Sunder, that would imply that the Burning Legion will rain from the sky, just as they did in Warcraft 3 Reign of Chaos, and as Wrathion predicted in the beginning of the Legendary Quest. So it all seems to be coming together. So could the Burning Legion indeed be the next expansion? I personally don't really particularly have a preference as to which one is the next expansion, because no matter which one it is, I will be extremely excited, because these are both things, as a lore nerd, that I am extremely excited about. They are two really, really awesome, well developed within the you know, storyline beyond the game and everything like that, and it's something that everyone who knows anything about the lore has wanted for basically like an eternity. So it's really, really exciting, and I think the future of World of Warcraft and just Warcraft games in general is reaching a new pinnacle in badass, and I really, really can't wait until November 8th, I believe BlizzCon is. I can't wait until BlizzCon 2013 to see what this next expansion is going to be. I truly believe that these will be the two next expansions, or one jumbo expansion with two parts, as I have elaborated on before. So let me know what you guys think. Do you believe that the Dark Below will be the next expansion? Do you believe that Rise of the Legion will be the next expansion, or whatever that Burning Legion expansion shall be called? Do you believe the Sky Sunder is a legitimate thing? Like I said, I think that it's probably fake, but who knows? And yeah, I guess that basically concludes today's video. It was rather lengthy, but I just wanted to get this final expansion video out of the way, just to go in depth about it and see which one you guys think and which one I think will come next. And personally, I think that with all signs pointed towards Wrathion and possibly this Sky Sunder thing, which again I think is probably fake, but I think it does have some legitimacy to it. And so I think that Burning Legion will probably be the next expansion, but again, there is no guarantee, and it's all speculation at this point until BlizzCon. So until BlizzCon, I will not cover this topic anymore, because it will become beating a dead horse after this video. So I hope you all enjoyed this rather lengthy video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Is the Dark Below the next expansion? Is the Burning Legion the next expansion? And just leave your thoughts, criticisms, ideas, everything like that that they could do for the next expansions in the comment section below. And I will see you guys next time.